So, what brings you here? I gather that you're interested in business and marketing and advertising. Advertising is just a term that they use, because that's the front end. That's the most obvious thing that you see. That's what the consumer sees, But if you look at the entire business as a whole, you will see a lot of things happening, from strategy to communications to media strategy to marketing strategy to ideas, and that's the business that we are in, And of course, that's a common term that they use to describe what we do as advertising, which is really the back end of it, So it's a long process that gets you up to there, So I just want to tell you a little bit of things about our business, the creative industry, and we're all in the creative industries, a lot of people who do this business, just not advertising people, I think the entire industry is described as the creative industry. Why is it called the creative industries? Because it creates value, it creates jobs, it creates brands, it creates opportunities for a lot of people. And hopefully, among those people will be you and the people that you will work for in the future, So kind of a wide term that describes the creative industries. And I will give you why, what this business is about, yeah? We are in the business of selling ideas. Advertising is a common term that we use, And that's where I just need to give you a little bit of advice on what it really is about. It's about high-end value add, and it's about brand strategy and creativity. When you saw all those ads, right, earlier, but what is the brand ambition there? What does Coca-Cola want to stand for? What does Apple want to stand for? What does Proton want to stand for? You got to get that right before you are able to sell a product to the consumer. And then a lot of other things that are happening, where rich digital solutions, entire revolution happened because of 4 tweets in Egypt, Can you see the power of what's happening around the world and how people are communicating, And I'll show you a couple of commercials there which kind of gives you how the entire world is being turned on its head, And marketers are not marketers anymore. Marketers are the people who buy the product, who actually promote your product, yeah? So we've got social media and distributed content, how they work. I'm sure a lot of you guys are on different kinds of social networks and talking about brands, giving feedback on brands, trying to change governments in some instances like you, And then you have got search and mobile marketing, I just want to do a quick survey, right? Besides the guys in front here, how many of you carry an Apple iPhone? Apple, 1, 2, 3. How many of you are carrying some of these new Samsungs that are coming out? Samsung, nobody likes Samsung? Nokia? Nokia, okay, Nokia. You can see a Nokia, right? And what has happened to that? One of the greatest phone brands. And if there's no individual skill and creativity involved, then the brand starts going down, It requires a great deal of innovation to keep that up. And then you've got new players. Samsung you never heard of before. It's my wife carries one, plays with it all the time, and I'm talking to her. And that's become an amazing story of how an Asian brand, previously you talk about the top 100 brands in the world, there are no Asian brands there, maybe some Japanese brands. Now the Koreans are coming in, the Taiwanese are coming in, Chinese are coming in. When's Malaysia going to be there? When's Malaysia going to be there? Malaysia can only be there because you can make it happen, So here's it, kind of continuum, talking about the creative industry. There's so many different areas, Like I said, it's the creative services and performing arts, audiovisuals, traditional cultural expression, new media. There's so many different things, But it starts with people's attitude and an innovative spirit and a creative spirit to make all of these happen. And if you look at that, this is how it's spread out. People are building content genres, and it's different forms of expression, entertainment, and training, information-based content, promotional content, heritage. So brands are all, marketing people are all trying to occupy this space. And then you see the channels of consumption happening, of physical media, wireless, wired, broadcast, and then the whole bunch of deliveries, So it's become a lot more complex now, yeah, but it's also become more interesting, and it's also become a lot more opportunistic for people who are able to develop brands. So a huge, huge area for you to go into, And at the end of the day, you're going to be working with maybe the MAE members, clients, or media specialists, or creative companies, and they look at different kinds of output. Output has also changed. And so for as long as you're trained well, you're able to recognize that output and put that into play to grow your clients' brands. Because at the end of the day, people are not, looking for advertising, and nobody's looking. Maybe in the early days they did because advertising made them laugh. There's only one TV in the house. You had no choice. You're looking forward to some clever commercials, but nobody's looking for advertising. They're looking for interesting things. And as they said, some famous guy said, and sometimes it happens to be advertising. So in any way we communicate, you have to be brilliant to make money. If not, you'll be poor. So advertising is being delivered through so many different mediums now. Content and ideas are also being developed. So it's not about, they talk about mass communication. In different universities. I know some of you guys are studying mass communication degrees. One of my ambitions is to make sure that the word does not exist anymore. Mass communication, you communicate on an individual basis. And it's such a wide term. That's completely changed. You're talking about basically communications, and it's not. Sometimes it happens to be mass. Sometimes it happens on an individual basis. Yeah. And all of these are very, very personal experiences for people. It makes it a little bit complex for us to communicate, but it also makes it a lot more interesting because it is not about mass communication anymore. It's about so many different things that contribute towards that. So it's before. It used to be like that. Mass communication is about outbound, yeah? You have a message and you stick it out, But now you've got to get people to come to you in a different sort of way. People are coming to you anyway, looking for you. And it's not about outbound, it's inbound, People coming because you're interesting, you've got something different to say. And that's where the world has truly changed. Yeah? I think you fall into this group called millennials, People who were born in the last, 20, 25 years, and how they have changed, right? And it's about downloads and how you're interacting with. Some of your children would never see a TV in the way that you see it now. I don't think my kids have seen one of those dial-up phones to show you, to ask you whether it's an antique. And young children are very familiar with iPads and all kinds of devices. So I think the challenge is about how do you communicate with young people. And some traditions, some sacred cows have been slain. If you look about how Obama was elected, you never imagine in your lifetime, because of the way culturally that society is structured, to see a black man in power. But it didn't matter anymore, It didn't matter what color he was, as long as people believed him and he had a point of view, and that point of view is conveyed. And that's what has changed in the people of today. There's less willingness to believe what people tell you. They've got their own opinion on things, and you need to take advantage of that. And we're in the cusp of it. Yeah? So it's also to make sense of this, right? It's just not about all these new devices anymore. Large part of society is also like that, And you see a number of brands there, all this kind of Pepsi Cola here and a few others there. And look at this, it's not big shampoo things anymore. How do you communicate with them, You still need to sell your product. And not only people who've got tablets or devices who've got product. You've got to make sense of that. And you've got to make sense of that, Look at this, this is crazy, yeah? The number of choices that people have, We need to make sense of this. Consumers are wonders, shoppers are on a mission, they know what they want. And what we do in our business is try to, maybe Jeff's trying to sell that, and Joseph's trying to sell that, and Omar's trying to sell that, David's trying to sell that digitally through some other medium. And so fighting for that, and everybody's trying. Eileen's got probably L'Oreal somewhere down there, So it's kind of big, huge, massive challenge to get noticed, And that is the wonder of advertising. So if you use it broadly, how do you lead people to a choice? Yeah? So sometimes in a business, as you go through the career, you got this business of people who love it, There's no doubt about that. But then you look at it again, it's any business about people loving what you do, whether it's legal firm, accounting firm, whatever it is, But the idea is about that, Always people, Do I wake up and feel that I want to be in the business? Sometimes, yeah, but you've got to keep going because you like it, And as you're starting a career, you will get that feeling. What do you really want to do? It's like a computer game, It's a computer game. If you play a computer game, you go different levels, right? Different levels. Then you reach the topmost level, whatever computer game you're playing. But if you don't defeat the demon in step one, that guy will come back in a different dimension. You can't keep, you got to slay the demons as you go in every step of the day before you become an immortal. You know, so as the copy there says, you never give up. You try to manage that. You don't swap careers midway if you really can't, if you don't believe in it. And sometimes you got to give it a go. In this business, for people like that to come in, give it a go, stay long term, and then they will see the fruits. Right? Okay, Janet's asked me to wrap up. You know, I think this business is also a bit about fun. Yeah, you know, and I just want to leave you with this: money chases good work. You know, so if you're clever, you can make money from it. But this graduate fellowship program affords you an opportunity to work with some of the best people, you know, highly respected people in the business, and you've got to take advantage of that, you know, and see how you can grow in those environments. It's not going to be easy, I'm telling you. Okay, so thank you very much.